Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you, and that's depending where you are in the world. It's the nighttime session. The devotional is called Conflict and Courage. The title today, A Sure Outcome. 1 Samuel 17:45. Then said David to the Philistine, I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. Goliath railed upon David and cursed him by his gods. He felt that it was an insult upon his dignity to have a mere stripling without so much as an armor come to meet him. David didn't become irritated because he was looked upon as so inferior. Neither did he tremble at his terrible threats, but he replied, Thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This speech, given in a clear musical voice, rang out on the air and was distinctly heard by the listening thousands marshaled for war. The anger of Goliath was roused to the very highest heat. In his rage, he pushed up the helmet that protected his forehead, rushed forward to wreak vengeance upon his opponent. The son of Jesse was preparing for his foe. And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted, ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag, took thence a stone, and slang it, and smote the Philistine bang in the forehead. And the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. That was exciting, wasn't it? Amazement spread along the lines of the two armies. They had been confident that David would be slain. He would be splattered. But when the stone went whizzing through the air straight to the mark, they saw the mighty warrior tumble and reach forth his hands as if he were struck with sudden blindness. The giant reeled, staggered like a smitten oak, and just fell to the ground. David did not wait an instant. He sprang upon the prostrate form of the Philistine and with both hands laid hold of Goliath's heavy sword. And a moment before, the giant had boasted that with it he would sever the youth's head with his shoulders and gave his body to the fowls of the air. Now it was lifted in the air, and then the head of the boaster rolled from its trunk, and a shout of exultation went up from the camp of Israel. When God brings you to it, he will bring you through it. A sure outcome. So if you remember previously, we'd read that Saul gave David his armor and his shield. Saul was a big guy and David was a little guy. And David was like, I don't need all your armor and your shield. I put on the whole armor of God. And David went into that battle, a one-on-one. I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts. God is coming with me. God is with me. God is fighting my battle. The God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. If our God is for us, who can be against us? And you see how when David said, "Thou comest to me with a sword, I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts," that really riled up Goliath. Goliath had a big helmet and a big facial bit as well, protection. And he pushed that up in anger and said, pride. It's just pride. And it played into the hands of God and David, because when he pushed this up, David could go thwack. The stone went bang because he'd taken the protection off. It worked like clockwork. You, me, we have Goliaths in our lives. We have mountains, we have Goliaths, whatever you want to call it. A Goliath is standing before us, or a mountain is standing before us. We don't have to fight that Goliath. We have to pray to God and trust him. Trust and obey. God will say to you, go for it. Go for it. Do it. Just go for it. And you go. Because you might get that far, just that far from wherever it is you want to go. And then God will say, whoo, the door is open for you. But you have to trust God that he will work it out for you. One way or another. He'll either take you over it, or around it, or underneath it, or he'll take you straight through it. Either way, you have to go. We have to go. A sure outcome. It's always a sure outcome. If God tells you to do something, you do it without question, without doubt. You step forward and you go. Go in the name of the Lord of hosts, in the name of the God of Israel.